Are you looking to purchase the perfect gift for someone who enjoys journaling, calligraphy, and writing? If you're new to the pen world, it might seem daunting to shop with so many choices of nib types, filling systems, inks, and papers. As a newbie, you can either run headlong into an algorithmic bestseller list or do hours of tedious research to find halfway decent gift ideas. Wouldn't it be great if you could get personal suggestions from a panel of the world's most respected writing enthusiasts? I'm Tom Otto for Goldspot Pens. I reached out to several esteemed pen aficionados on YouTube to create the 2019 Pen Community Gift Guide. In this video, you'll hear from several of the best pen reviewers, including...
Hey folks, welcome to the Pen Community Gift Guide Inkdependence Edition. That's me, I'm Mike, inkdependence.com, the Inkdependence YouTube channel, and at Inkdependence on Instagram. That's Scraggles, she shows up on my channel too. I've had this blog and this YouTube channel since 2012, but in truth, I've been a pen fanatic and fan for much longer than that.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is that you're watching this video. I'm Roy of the Penboy Roy Fountain Pen Review channel. I can also be found at Penboy Roy on Instagram. I've been producing fountain pen reviews for you savage fountain pen virus infected individuals since December of 2017.
David here with Fig Boot on Pens, making a guest appearance on the Goldspot Pens channel for their holiday gift guide. If you're not familiar with my YouTube channel, it is Fig Boot on Pens. I just recently celebrated the 4-year anniversary of creating content on YouTube. On my channel, I review all things fountain pen, ink, notebooks, and all sorts of other items.
Hello everybody, my name is Larry Baronis. I live in Fort Worth, Texas. And my YouTube channel is Larry's Fountain Pens. And you can also find me on all the social medias. Twitter at Larry0711SBCGL1. And then you can go to Instagram, and there you can find me as PenGuy1949. On Facebook, I have 2 groups on Facebook at this time. The first one's going to be Larry's Fountain Pens. And the second one is Larry's Fountain Pen Pals. Cool one.
I'm Stephen Brown, and my handle on social media is SBRE Brown because I have no less than 4 first names. Although I guess if there are 4, that's not necessarily all first names. Anyway, you get the point. There are many names in me, and I have been reviewing fountain pens since January 2011. You can find me on YouTube, SBRE Brown. You can find my website, sbrebrown.com. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, SBRE Brown. It's always the same, so that's kind of useful.
Hello, welcome pen friends, welcome visitors. If you're new to my channel, my name is Chris, and I've been a fountain pen YouTuber for about 2 years. I started this channel mostly for my love of fountain pen inks, but if you go back far enough, you'll see I'm also quite head over heels with fountain pens. The whole hobby, the whole community, everything about it has just been such a joy in my life.
My name is Brad. I'm the Pen Addict online, so you can go to penaddict.com and find links to all my work there. I blog, multiple times a week. I have a staff of writers. We do lots of pen reviews, ink reviews, stationery reviews. I do a podcast called the Pen Addict Podcast, which we're going into our 7th year. I've been doing the blog for, it'll be 12 years here in a couple weeks, which is crazy to say out loud. And, I just love being part of the overarching writing community, and I try to do my part to make it a good situation for experienced users, new users to find information, learn about different things, and you can find all my links on penaddict.com.
We asked each of our pen pals a set of questions that relate to shopping for a new pen. While we have edited their responses for brevity's sake, you can find their answers in their entirety on their respective YouTube channels. You'll find links below in the description to find everyone's channel. What do you look for in a daily carry pen?
Well, I'll tell you, when it comes to daily carry, I want something that's going to be dependable and is going to be sturdy and is going to be convenient, because I can't be bothered to, be searching around for pens and trying to unscrew fiddly things. I want a pen that's going to be sturdy and is going to be able to take some knocks. I'm not going to have to worry about it starting up. It's going to be ready every time when I need it. And so, like, I don't know, a good example of this is this pen. This is a Platinum 3776 Nice Pure. This comes in a lot of different forms, but it's a nice, easy to carry pen. It has a screw-on cap, so it's not going to come uncapped in your pocket or your shirt or whatever. It has this nice cap here, which keeps your nib nice and wet. It's got great nib options. It's a great pen all around. Goes right in my pocket. The other thing about daily carry is that I'm not always using a fountain pen. I know, it's shocking, but sometimes you just like need something else. So I'll carry something like this rickshaw sleeve or any of a bunch of other options that'll allow me to carry two things at once very easily. So I put my fountain pen in one side, and then I put something like a ballpoint in the other side. Because sometimes a fountain pen just isn't the thing you need. So I'll carry maybe a Retro 51. This is the Tornado. It's a roller ball, but you can replace that refill with many other things. Or maybe something like this Schoen Design pen, which has a really reliable ballpoint in it, and it's pretty bomb-proof, this little guy. Or this Tactile Turn pen. This is what they call a bolt action pen, and it is a ballpoint. It is made of bronze. It will outlive me.
Answer, a fountain pen. Not a ballpoint pen, not a rollerball pen, a fountain pen. Plain and simple. As a matter of fact, I want a quantity of 0 additional balls associated with me or my daily carry at all times.
The main thing I look for in an EDC pen is reliability. I want to pick it up and just have it right. I don't want to fiddle with it or prime the feed. I just want it to write. When I'm using my pens at work each day, I need a pen to just work. Also, I'm all about variety when it comes to my everyday carry. If you would care to see the pen that I take to work with me each day, you can follow me on Instagram, or you can find me at FigBoot11, and each weekday I share my pen of the day. For my daily carry, I rotate through the majority of my collection so I can ensure everything gets some love and attention.
For a daily carry pen, what I look for, first of all, is I like large pens, heavy pens, but some light pens are okay. I like the girth in a pen. I like to feel that pen in my hand. I do love clips. That's really a must for me. Why is that? Because I tend to use a clip and I'll clip it on my shirt or in my pocket. I do carry pen pouches, but there's a lot of times that I run out of room and I need a clip on my pen to clip it onto me. So, next, a major thing that's always been a #1 thing for me is the heart of a pen, and that is the nib. That is the sole part of the nib, and that's very important to me when I carry a pen. Why? I like my nib smooth and wet.
In a word, reliability. To me, I'm not a pen collector. I do not buy a pen to put it on my desk. I do not buy a pen to keep it in a box. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but what I am saying is I use my pens. And that means that for me, it is very important that when I uncap a pen and I put it to the paper, it writes all the time, every time. And I have found that there are some pens that really do that very nicely for me, and that there are some pens that do not. And interestingly enough, that there is not always a correlation between price and reliability. There are some inexpensive pens that perform absolutely beautifully, and there are some very expensive pens that do not.
That's probably like my biggest category of pen that I use. I want something that I can take with me on the go, use for writing in different situations. And I'm not scared to take any pen out of the house. So pretty much every pen is an everyday carry pen for me, no matter if it's $5 or $500. Yes, I'll throw the $500 pen right in my pocket and take it out and get in the car and, you know, go to the grocery store, something like that. But I do use more of everyday carry style pen, and I like something like the Kaweco Sport for that. So this was the Frosted Sport Blueberry, and it's just a small plastic barrel pen. but it's very compact, it's very durable, it can take a beating. And the best part about it is when you put the cap on it, it ends up becoming a full-size writing pen. So this is a full-length pen, despite coming in what is really a very, very small package. Now, these pens run $25 or so, something like that. So relatively inexpensive for a fountain pen. Very fun, comes in a ton of fun colors. If you like this style, you can actually upgrade, which is one of the pens I carry a lot. This is the Steel Sport, so this is the metal version. And they have a lot of different metal versions. They have a brass version of this and a couple of other different metal versions. They even have carbon fiber inlay versions with this pen. So this is the same style, same format as the Plastic Sports. You know, costs, you know, close to $100, I think, on the Steel Sport. But this is what I like in an everyday carry pen. Slides right into a pocket, into a bag, into a purse, and when it comes out, it's a wonderful writer, full-size writing experience. Takes short international cartridges. They have converters you can use with them. Questionable. I'd stick with the cartridges, mostly for the Kavekos.
To get started, what would you include in a care package to a friend who is a complete pen newbie?
Package for a fountain pen newbie, you say? Look, I think it's very important to penable your friends, get them into good stationery, and show them what they could be using. So I think it's helpful to, first off, kind of meet them where they are. And where they are is probably like a Pilot G2, maybe. This is a very popular gel pen. Perhaps also the Uniball Signo. This is a 307. These are also popular. You can find them in like Target and, you know, Walmart and wherever. Staples has them. But we can do better than those. And my current favorite is actually this one. This is the Zebra Sarasa Dry. So why is this a step up over the other two? I think it's a step up over the other two because the color is bright, the ink is nice and bold, and it dries super mega quick. So sometimes with these guys, you'll get sort of like a blob or something, and then it'll like smear, it doesn't look great, you don't love it. This one dries so quickly that you just write with it, run a finger over it, it's already dry. So you can't smear it, it's great. And it feels nice and smooth, it lasts a long time. This is good stuff. So this is a step up in pens. Here's the next thing they're going to need. Better paper. Because most people don't really think about the paper they're using unless they're some kind of fountain pen nerd like you and me. So we can get them some good paper. That's pretty easy, simple, and inexpensive. So here's some good inexpensive paper. This is Maraman Septicolor. It is a Japanese brand. They make all kinds of good paper here. So like, I don't know, I've written all my notes and this kind of stuff in here for YouTube channel things and all manner of stuff. And it takes everything beautifully because your friends aren't going to necessarily be using fountain pens on everything. They're going to be using pencils, they're going to be using ballpoints, they're going to be using gels, all the stuff. This is going to hook them up. This is $8.75 for an A5 notebook. Perfectly good sized notebook, great price, definitely worth checking out. A little bit higher up on the food chain are things like Rhodia pads. Rhodia pads are fairly ubiquitous in the fountain pen world, but they're not great for things like pencils. They don't have enough grab to the paper. So if you know your friend's going to be using pens, these are pretty darn good for that. And lastly, a little bit further up the food chain yet, Midori. Midori is another Japanese company. This is an MD cotton notebook. This is an F0 size. The F is for figure, apparently, and it's because it's supposed to be good for drawing. It's supposed to be a better size and shape and such for making sketches. I'm no artist, but this paper is really nice for anything you put on it. It's got a nice creamy white. These are blank, and they're they take everything from pencils up to your biggest fountain pens with no problem at all. So check out Midori Cotton. They're great as well. Now, you want to get your friend into some, like, I don't know, some, like, entry fountain pen stuff. It depends on how much you want to pay, but I would say, actually, one of my new, like, go-to pens is the Diplomat Magnum. This is a very nice fountain pen. It is not particularly expensive. Goes for around 20 bucks, although sometimes you can find it on sale, but around 20 bucks. Comes with a fairly slim variety of nibs, like only 3 or 4 sizes, but like your friend doesn't need that. They need a pen that's going to work and feel good every time. And this one looks nice. It's got a nice feel to the plastic it's made of. Hi, Mr. Nose. And this thing writes every time without fail. Takes cartridges, so you're going to need to get them some cartridges. Get them like a pack of diamine cartridges or something. They come in a lot of different colors. Hi, Mr. Nose. How are you, bud? And they'll give your friend like a good pen that doesn't look too ostentatious, that writes every time they need it, and is ready to go. So altogether, we've got about 20 bucks for the pen. You've got a couple of bucks for cartridges, so like 23 bucks, give or take. You've got 8 bucks for, or 9 bucks for this, so we're about 30 bucks, plus a good gel pen to meet them where they are, and that's about like 3 bucks. So for like $30-ish, you can get your friend a really nice setup that's going to give them a taste of what good stationery can be like.
Answer: a box of mangled and destroyed ballpoint pens, followed by a box with a brand new fountain pen in it. I don't even care what kind of fountain pen. Any fountain pen. As a matter of fact, any one of the fountain pens these other guys are talking about would be just perfect. Just spread the fountain pen virus.
Not that long ago, I was in that situation. I wanted to give someone a bit of a starter kit, and what I purchased for them was a TWSBI Diamond 580 and a bottle of Pilot Iroshizuku Konpeki ink. The TWSBI Diamond 580 is a very cool demonstrator, and the ink has an interesting bottle as well. And that the Konpeki is a great ink on top of that. Now, that's not necessarily the most inexpensive way to go. That will set you back about $80. A more affordable option would be to do something like pick up a Lamy Safari, as well as a bottle of Lamy ink. If you do that, you want to make sure that you pick up a converter as well, since the Safari doesn't come with one. And that option will cost you around $45. And maybe something like an A4 rodeo pad as well, so that they'll understand the difference between paper which is fountain pen friendly and paper which is not. And those pads usually run around $9.
And here's how I do mine. We all are different, okay? First of all, I would put 2 to 3 samples of ink. Then the fountain pen. Since they're a brand new newbie, I don't want to start too high, too low, but I want to give them the feel, the idea, the taste of a fountain pen. That's very important. So I would start, believe it or not, maybe in a Junhao. That's very low as far as the amount of money one pays. Or a Pilot Metropolitan. Now remember, the nib sizes on the Pilot, which is Japanese, and the Junhao, which is Chinese, are entirely different. Because they grind their nibs different. So both are really good, great pens, and that's what I would include. Plus, I would include 3 or 4 or 5 sheets of different friendly fountain pen paper, like Tomoe River paper, Clairefontaine, Rhodia paper, Life paper, and another. I would just pick at random.
Well, I would stick to a pen that's easy to use. If we're talking about fountain pens, they can be incredibly confusing. Confusing as to all the terminology. What's the difference between an italic nib and a cursive italic nib and a stub nib and an oblique nib, and what's the difference between a piston filler and a cartridge converter filler and a vacuum filler and a button filler. So there's a lot of jargon in the pen world. So I would stick, now I don't think it is necessarily super likely that you would send your friend a $1,500, let's say, button filler vintage pen. Most of the pens you will buy these days in a price segment that is convenient to be given away, so to speak, will be cartridge converter pens. And I would also stick to that. I have often advised people to simply stick to a cartridge when they start out with a fountain pen, just because it is very convenient. Now, having said that, at some point you may want to graduate towards bottled ink, and some people have said, yeah, but actually it is bottled ink that gives you the true fountain pen experience of drawing up ink, whether it's with a piston filler or a converter. And I understand that point, but someone who has never used a fountain pen, or has used a fountain pen years ago and is now used to ballpoints where you have a refill, if that, or you just throw out the entire pen when it's empty, to immediately overwhelm them with bottled ink, I don't know if that's necessarily a good idea. So for me, the advice is always get them a nice pen. Could be a Platinum Preppy, could be something that's really affordable, and get them a little box of cartridges. If they like it, then you can graduate them and say, hey, you know what? Here's a converter, $7. Here's a bottle of my favorite ink. Try this. Let's do it together. And from there, you can see what happens. And maybe they will really like that. But maybe they will not, right? Let's face it, using bottled ink can be a little messy. You can get some ink on your fingers. Not everybody is equally enamored with that. So that's what I would do. So a simple pen, a box of cartridges, and also some paper. A lot of people, because I review pens, a lot of people approach me after their first pen experience and they say, I don't understand, everybody is raving about fountain pens, but I use copier paper and it sucks. Yeah, if you don't have good paper, then the ink will pretty much be sucked out of your pen, will spread on the page, will not look attractive, and the writing experience will not be very pleasant. So I would really say, get them a nice little, either a notebook or a notepad, something, could be something A5 size, you know, not too large, but some nice paper. And there's many good paper brands out there. Rhodia is great, Clairefontaine is great. So there are a lot of options, but if you give them that, and a reasonably nice pen, some ink, maybe in cartridges, and a nice, some sort of paper, notebook or notepad, I think your friend would be very happy, and I think you can really explain to them how all that stuff works, which is part of the fun as well, and explain them what makes good paper or bad paper for fountain pens.
So, the first one, the Pilot Varsity, this is a little pen that I really highly recommend for someone like a child or a first-time user of a fountain pen, to where they can have a great experience right out of the box. These pens are fountain pens, but they're ready to write with. You just open it up, take the cap off, and it starts to write. You don't have to fill the pen with ink. You don't have to pop in a cartridge and wait. It's ready to go. So that's what makes it such a great pen for a beginner or a young person. Now, I would not just give somebody this pen and say, have a good day, I hope you like it. The thing is that you need to find some paper that will go really well for them. And I've got a couple of really affordable options. One is the little Morriman Spiral Note, and it's available in those Daiso places for like $1.50. And then the other one is available in CVS pharmacies in the United States, and it's under $2 as well. And this is really friendly paper, especially for a medium tip pen like this is. This has a medium nib on it, and it writes pretty well. In fact, it may bleed through or show through cheaper papers, but these are fountain pen friendly papers that I would recommend.
I think the main thing that people will jump to for this answer is a pen of some type, but I really think the paper is the most important thing in this entire setup. So I'm getting Rhodia paper to my friends. Sorry, that's a little bright. Again, we don't edit here. We're lucky we have lighting. So this is the ice pad, but any Rhodia product will do. It comes in graph, dot, line, blank, all kinds of formats. This is the A5 size format, which is I think a great desk size format. The thing about Rhodia paper is it's going to work with any pen exceptionally well. There's a little bit longer dry time for like a gel pen or rollerball or fountain pen ink, but the performance you get with any pen you'll throw at it will make any pen that much better. So if I'm making a care package, yes, I'm going to have a pen and some ink and some cartridges and things like that, but I'm going to focus on giving them a paper that they can use with what current pens that they have, and hopefully showing them how much of a difference paper can make to the writing experience.
What pen would you suggest to a beginner looking to step up to the next level of fine writing?
So there are a lot of different levels. I'm going to give you a little tour of fountain pens from cheap up to a couple of $100. So starting out, these two. These are disposable pens. This is the Pilot Varsity. They're a few bucks a piece, $2 or $3. These are the Zebra Fountain Pen, which has got an exclamation point. These are a little bit better, I think. Same price range. These are perfectly serviceable pens, but they're kind of the lowest end fountain pens that are good and available right now. Step up from that would be the Platinum Preppy. This pen comes with cartridges. You can actually put a converter in it if you want to, but you don't have to. Just pop that cartridge on and you're ready to go. This is about like $4 or $5. Next up, I'm gonna say like the TWSBI Go, which I don't have handy right at the moment, or we're back to our old buddy, the Diplomat Magnum here. Then around $30, Mr. Nose, what are you doing, you silly goose? Around $30, you've got the TWSBI Eco, which is a very nice fountain pen, of super low price point at $30 for such a good pen. It is a piston filler. It is cool looking. You can watch your ink slosh around, but this does mean that you're going to have to graduate up to bottles of ink and do a little bit more fiddly stuff because you got to fill it with its own stuff. It doesn't take a cartridge. Next up on the price range, around the $40-ish, you've got these two. Mr. Nose, I don't need your help right now, pal. You've got the Pilot Prera, which is a very nice starter pen. It has a steel nib and a slip cap. Very satisfying. And you've also got the Faber-Castell Lume, which is a nice metal-bodied pen with great nibs around the $40 mark. Up from that, here's a new pen on the scene. This is by Ian Schoen at Schoen Design. This is the Pocket 6. And the Pocket 6 is a fountain pen that goes in your pocket. Has a nice aluminum body. It's got a big number 6 size nib, and the cap screws on the back so that you can have a full size pen. And these are about $115, $120, depending on the style and all that sort of thing. Next up, something like this, perhaps. The Pilot Custom 74. It has a gold nib, it holds a bunch of ink, and it writes every time you pick it up. This is a great pen, but it's around $160. Up from that, the sky is the limit, but you start getting into things that are like small maker. So Franklin Christoph, this is a Model 02, it's about $175. And this is the Carolina Pen Company Charleston. Both of these are made by small makers, bigger than one person. This is made by one guy, and you find these at their sites, not too many other places. But they're all individual and unique. They've got good details, good craftsmanship, a good warranty, all that kind of jazz. And so, depending on what your next step is, those are some options for you.
Easy. Go with Roy. Roy Conklin, as in the Conklin Durograph.
The answer to this question seems to change for me on a regular basis. There are a lot of great next-level pens out on the market. Right now, I'd have to say it would be the Pilot Custom Heritage 92. It's a little bit over $200, but it has a lot going for it. It's a cool, transparent demonstrator and has an excellent gold nib. And it's a good gateway to getting a feeling for what other kinds of bigger and better things that are potentially out there to be experienced. It's a pen I enjoy using on a regular basis.
Now, mind you, I have no idea what you may be using at this present time. But if it was me in your shoes, I would go with a Monteverde or a Conklin fountain pen. They're great pens, and even a Edison pen. They're all great pens, and they're all affordable. Let's start with the Edison. Edison has, 3 different types of pens, so there's a good selection there of pens and colors. Nice, larger size pens with some smaller size pens, but when you cap the pen, when you post the pen, it's a full-size pen. More lightweight, but they are definitely some really amazing fountain pens. And the Conklin All-American, I found to be a very nice, affordable pen. I believe you can get those for like under $70. And under that Conklin line pen, you're going to find the Durograph pens as well. Very good pens. I like them. I use them all the time.
One pen that I recently tried out that I was really quite impressed with was the Platinum Procyon. A very nice pen, doesn't have a gold nib, doesn't have a piston filler, but very reliable, and it feels much more luxurious than it actually is if you go by price. It kind of, in my mind, punches above its weight in quality as to its price, which I think is really impressive. Another brand that I have become quite fond of recently is Leonardo from Italy, What I like about that brand is that these are pens that are made in Italy, actually turned, not injection molded or created, you know, en masse, so to speak. Actually turned from solid rods of acrylic or celluloid. Now the celluloid pens are more expensive. They also have a piston filler, they have a gold nib, but to be honest, the regular acrylic models with steel nibs, they come with a cartridge converter that can be operated through a blind cap, so you can unscrew the end of the barrel, then you can operate your converter without unscrewing this section, which kind of gives you the impression you're using a piston filler. Just a steel nib, but I have had nothing but positive experiences with that brand. It's a very kind gentleman who makes them, but beyond that, I found the quality of the pens to be consistently very high.
If you've already gifted someone with this, or they have a start in fountain pens but they want to move up a little, then this is my recommendation right here. It's the Lamy Vista, but it's also, you could get along just as well with the Lamy Safari, which is the exact same pen body and mechanism and all, but this is what's called a demonstrator, which means that they can see in. They can kind of see what's going on with how this works, and it's fascinating for a new user. In fact, it's still fascinating for me. I just love it, and so I do highly recommend the clear Lamy Vista to get someone started. I think it's just amazing because they can really see what's going on with the color. They can open it up, and what this is a cartridge converter pen, but you can use this, what's called a cartridge converter, and fill from a bottle of ink, which we're going to look at. Don't worry, we're going to look at bottles of ink. Or you can just pop in a cartridge. Well,
what's the one thing to avoid when shopping for a nice pen?
I couldn't come up with just one thing. Two things. The first is maybe avoid places like eBay and Amazon for your first few good fountain pen choices or shopping experiences, because they don't have any after the sale service. So if you get a pen that's kind of wonky or just doesn't work right or you don't like it, well, you're kind of out of luck, because there's no one there who's going to be able to talk you through it or give you any warranty service or anything like that. So go to a shop that's known for good customer service, go to a maker who's known to support their work, and you know, treat yourself that way. The other thing is, don't be afraid of just getting steel nibs. Steel nibs are great. I love steel nibs. Almost all the pens I've shown are steel nib pens. This is the only exception, the Pilot. The rest of them, steel nibs, all great.
Your spouse.
I would say that when shopping for a higher-end pen, you should avoid any guesswork. What I mean by that is that before you pay a significant sum for a pen, do your research, watch reviews, read blog posts, physically try out the pen if possible. Know what nibs you enjoy. If you go into a significant purchase well-educated, the chance that you will actually like your purchase will be greater. My success ratio on my higher-end pens is very high, mainly because I am rarely purchasing something that I haven't done my due diligence on, and I'm rarely surprised in a negative way.
One thing I would avoid when shopping for a nice pen is a calligraphy pen. The nibs are different on those pens, totally different. And you may not be into calligraphy pens. You may not be into 1.1 stubs, 1.5, and so on. So that's one thing I would avoid. Nibs that I have never, ever used and that I'm unsure of. Because when you step out of the box, which is always good, don't get me wrong, you may, let's say, are a medium nib type person, and let's say you've never tried a 1.5. So you jump into that nib size already, and then you're going to find out that nib size is not for me. So be careful.
The most important thing to avoid is unrealistic expectations. I talk to a lot of people who have bought their first expensive pen, and they say, I don't know, I'm disappointed, I expected a lot more. Yeah, that's because you had unrealistic expectations, and that makes sense. I understand that. At the end of the day, a fountain pen is a fountain pen. And whether you spend $50, $500, or $5,000, they all have a nib, they all have a feed, they all have some sort of ink reservoir, They're all pens. So I think an important thing to realize is that above a certain level as to price, you're paying for luxury. You're paying for a certain level of status. And I have been in the very fortunate position that because as my channel grew in popularity, a lot of companies have sent or lent me pens. And some of those pens have been very expensive. $3,000, $4,000. I've even once held a pen that was 5 figures, and I've held pens that one time in my life I held a pen that was 6 figures. It's just a pen. And that's it. Now, of course, you may really like that pen, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you expect this pen to be some sort of heavenly creature that molds to your hand and that will make you write beautifully and that will absolutely blow you away as to its writing capacity, you're likely to be disappointed. And don't get me wrong, that can be really enjoyable. And I have a few pens that cost more and that are really nice to use, and I really love using them. But I've also been in a situation where I gave those expensive pens to other people to try out, and they said, I don't get it. Why is this so expensive? And that's a really realistic remark.
This is my #1 tip for what to avoid when you're shopping for a fountain pen. At all costs, it's a mindset that you need to avoid, in my opinion. And that mindset is the more you spend, the better the writing experience will be. That is false. That's a myth, or it's not true. You can get awesome writing experiences for well under $20, and in many cases for under $5. But then comes in the love of the hobby and how much time and effort you want to put in, or the person wants to put in to the learning but that's the fun of it to me. But by all means, do not have that mindset that it has to be super expensive. In fact, that's one of the things I think we as pen people need to help people understand, that you can get awesome writing experiences that don't have to be over $100 for a pen. Because I'm going to tell you something that a friend who has since passed away told me. She said that a fountain pen is basically a nib holder. So your main feature of your pen is this nib. So really, this is beautiful and shiny. And you can spend as much as you want to spend, up into the thousands or hundreds, on a pen body that's gorgeous, made out of all kinds of neat materials. But that's not going to change your writing experience that drastically when you get over a certain point. And what I found was I dabbled with 2 gold nib pens, and I ended up liking steel nibs better. So that automatically makes a pen about $100 more if you're going for a gold nib. And people will not all agree with me. This is just my opinion, but my opinion is that you should really avoid that mindset.
This is a tough question. I don't know that there's any very specific thing that I would just say, avoid this. But there are some categories where you do need to do more of a research, and that is the category that I want to focus on is flex nibs. So you have to be very careful when you're buying a flex nib if you don't know what you're looking for, or you don't have clear expectations for what the writing is going to be. So most modern flex nibs aren't going to give you that wild line variance, that huge amounts of expression you get. And when you see those videos on Instagram and YouTube with everyone having a really razor thin line into a broad flourish and all these kinds of things, there are nibs that can do that. But anything marketed a flex nib is going to be a challenge to do that type of line variation. So if you're into flex nibs and you don't know anything about fountain pens, and you get a list that says I want a flex nib fountain pen, you need to be a little bit careful in thinking about what you're really buying here. Most modern flex is what I call a soft nib. You're going to get line variation, you're going to get a thinness and a wider line the more pressure you put when you're writing. But to get the huge variance in flex, you're going to need to go to like a dip nib or a vintage flex nib to get, or a custom nib, which can run hundreds of dollars. to get these wild flourishes that a lot of people do. So I'm not putting you off of flex. I love flex type nibs, but just understand what that term means in the grand scheme of things, especially as far as modern flex pens go.
How do you tackle your holiday shopping list?
I'll tell you how I tackle it. Poorly. I'm not good at holiday shopping. I don't like to do it ahead of time, because if I find something that's perfect for somebody, I'm like, here, have this thing I found you that's amazing. I'm not good at putting it in a box in the closet and waiting. I'm very bad at that.
Get everyone you know a Penboy Roy Fountain Pen Review Channel water bottle. Not only are you giving them a nice water bottle, but you're encouraging them to drink more water, live longer, and play with pens more.
This is something I have gotten better at over the years. I will purchase things throughout the year for the holidays. If I find the perfect gift for someone in January, then I will pick it up and save it for them until the holidays. I find it helps to plan ahead. Also, that way when you spread out your holiday expenses across the entire year rather than trying to cram everything into a week or two in early December. Earlier this year, Barnes & Noble was actually discontinuing their Lamy collection, so they were selling safaris for something like $2, something silly like that. I tried checking out a couple of physical locations, but they were each sold out. I did see posts online, however, of folks who had picked up like 20 of them and were going to be giving them out to friends and family for the holidays. If I was handing out fountain pens to people who I'm not sure will like them or use them, I'd be much more willing to take a $2 gamble as opposed to the standard, $25 for a safari.
Well, that's a great question and really a hard one, because I want everything to see, right? And when it comes to fountain pens, I want them all. That's the hardest thing every year. So, how do I handle my shopping list? Okay, I don't make one. No, what I do is, seriously, I may write down about 20 pens that I want. And then I will be reviewing that list and start taking out some of the pens that are too unrealistic for me to reach for. Until I get that pen list down to, let's say, 10. And then I still want to get that pen list down even lower. So I want to go for the top 3. So I get it down to about 3 on my list. That's how I do mine. And that's every year.
Barely. And the reason for that is I have used a lot of pens. So when it comes in this particular case to pens, in the next question I'll talk a little bit about me, but I have seen a lot of pens. So for me and holiday shopping, I actually find it very, very difficult to shop for fellow pen lovers, whether they are, my wife is really into pens, gourmet pens on social media and such. I also have friends who are into pens, and to be honest, I'll be fair, I typically end up not getting them pen stuff. And the reason for that, and I feel this is another somewhat pragmatic but not necessarily very satisfying answer, pens are so personal that shopping for other people and getting them something they really like is very difficult. Very, very difficult, because everybody has their own preferences, their own likes and dislikes. And it's very hard to buy someone a pen that they like. So if I do end up buying a pen for someone, I ask them.
Oh boy. I'm really much more of a year-round kind of, when an opportunity comes up and I think of an idea, I like to send something to somebody. So I don't do all that great with Christmas because the pressure gets to me. But I do have 3 tips. One is make a good list. List everybody that you want to get a gift for. And then set a firm and realistic spending limit. You're going to get to see, okay, up here's my total, what do I have, and then write everybody down with your little ideas. It's really nice to capture those ideas as they come in, and then just make sure you stick to the limits. And then I'll give you a 3rd tip, and this is just me, but I'd say shop online. Don't bother going into stores unless you happen to live near a fountain pen store, because I think fountain pen people are great and you're going to have a good experience.
I'm a shop early, shop often, and shop online guy. So I have lists. I get them done. Like my kids, like I have 2 kids. They're both about, one's a teenager, one's about to be a teenager. They're essentially done shopping already as I record this video in the middle of November. So get it done early, shop often, and shop online. So that's kind of my my mantra. I don't have too much more left to do, so we'll have to see what I get my wife for Christmas. I'm not sure about that one yet. That one might take me a little while. I'm just not going to be one of those people that goes out on Christmas Eve and does a whole list. That would stress me out to no end. So get it done early, be done with it.
What would you ask Santa pens for this year?
Let me explain how this works. I'm the pen boy. I don't ask Santa for pens. Santa asks me for pens. Moving on.
I have had my eyes on a Galen writing box ever since I saw them at the DC show. I'd really like one of those. I think they look really great and it would be useful. It would be a good place to keep all of my wax seals and letter writing supplies. So that's what I've been having my eye on lately.
What would I ask Santa this year for Christmas? A fountain pen. But not just any fountain pen, but one that I'm really digging it. You know, when I saw Tom on Gold Spot Pens, not only reviewing the pen, but actually showing this pen in action. And the pen is no other, my friend, than the Leonardo Officina Italiano Momentum Zero Grande. Yes, but not the steel nib. I want the gold nib, a medium gold nib. Beautiful blue colored fountain pen. It just, bless my color. Amazing fountain pen. It's a large fountain pen, has a little bit of weight, has a nice girth to it, but that's my pen that I want Santa to get for me, because I've been good this year.
Very little. I have seen so many pens. I find myself barely buying any new pens. I have a very, very small set of pens that I like to use, and I don't buy much. Now, what I will say is, as I talked about Leonardo before, now that Leonardo Pens has offered a larger pen model, the Grande, I am a bit tempted by that because I like bigger pens, so it would be very nice to try that out. So that is something that I would actually put in my Christmas list. Beyond that, I don't have much.
If I could get anything I wanted this year, it would be a Knoxseed A5 in the purple iris. But I think I'd have to help Santa out this year for that if I'm expecting to get that.
So anytime I've been asked like for gifts for myself, I never tell people to buy me pens. Us pen addicts like myself are very particular, right? So if I can give someone a very specific, very clean, easy to shop for product that's a pen that I can like point to exactly what I want, I might do it. But generally I don't ask for pens. What I do like is the accessories around stationery. Like I think those are really great gifts. Like pen storage is always a great thing. You know, something like that. I would try, you know, some different, you know, if you can find some just cool vintage pencil and paper sets, something like that. What I'm personally looking for is been looking on Muji and finding these shelves to go into my closet to store my notebooks, because I have a notebook storage problem right now, and I think probably a lot of stationery people do. So I'm looking for some good organization systems for my stationery storage. I've seen some stuff at Muji. You can probably find things at a lot of different places. You know, that's kind of, you know, what I'm looking at this year. So don't buy me pens. I can buy those for myself. I do a pretty good job buying those for myself. So
what is an excellent gift for a pen enthusiast that has it all?
There are a lot of answers to this, I think. One is, I think paper and notebooks are hard to go wrong with because it's very difficult to have too many. You're always going to be using them. Somebody who is a pen enthusiast needs stuff to write on. Quality stuff to write on is always a good choice. Another possibility is something like pen storage. It's always great to have stuff to store your pens in. There are a zillion options for this. Franklin Christoph has some options, like these penvelopes that have been reviewed on my channel. Knockco has some great options in the Sinclair and the Brasstown and several others. You can get pen wraps like this. Sometimes you can even get them with people's logos and such on them, which are Very nice. And give people a way to store pens, and nobody has enough storage. Also, things like displays. If you look online, you can find places that have like glass top displays where you can like set your pens in and like display them so people can see them, and you can find your pen and all that sort of thing. Those are great to have too. Other things like accessories, like this from Semi Cool Ceramics. My friend Julia Scott makes these. You can take these and like you put a pen in the front of it, and you can put a bunch of pins behind it. They're all beautiful and handmade ceramic stuff. So that's a cool thing. Also things like, I don't know, all these little desk things that like you can carry your stuff around. They zip up, and then when you get home or to your desk, it snaps down and it's magnety. This is from Jet Pens. So things like that make a great gift for somebody who seems to have it all.
I thought we covered this already. The water bottle.
I would give them a gift card. To where? Well, there's a lot of settlers out there. For one, Gold Spot Pens would be really a great place to go. I've done that before. So, a gift card, and, you know, you have your own places you might want to get your gift card from. That's cool. So, but everybody may have just certain people they like to shop from. I can dig that too. But anyway, a gift card, for me, it works every time. Trust me, I've been the other way. I did the fountain pen thing and it didn't work too well. Ink, they didn't need any more ink. So for me, a gift card.
Yeah, we all know those people. Very difficult. Again, I wouldn't even venture into the realm of pens themselves just because they are so personal. And what nib would they use, and what finish of pen would they prefer? And I'm not saying that that's much easier, but a really nice ink can be a very personal gift. You have selected something. If you know someone well, you kind of know what color palettes they enjoy. Get a nice ink. It's also not as expensive. I mean, I assume, I could be wrong here, but I assume you don't go around buying your 10 friends $500 pens each. But a bottle of ink is much more affordable. And again, you can pick something that you think someone will really like. There are so many ink brands out there now with so many different colors to pick from. You can kind of personalize things in that way, which I think is very much worth it. And of course, there's always paper. Pen lovers always like paper, so put together a little gift basket with different types of papers. I have done something like that once, and that was a lot of fun. And you give someone something they can actually really use, because pen lovers always need more paper.
My recommendation to you, if you're trying to get the best gift for a pen enthusiast who has it all, who has everything, get him a gift card or a gift certificate through one of the major pen stores online. I just think, and I'm not going to name names, there's so many good ones, but do that because they have everything. They have a lot, but they always want more things, but it's tricky. It's very, very tricky. Once you've been in the hobby about a year, you've got pens, you've got inks, you've got samples rolling around, you've got everything, but there's always a certain kind of paper or a certain kind of envelope that they may need. So get them a gift card. That's my recommendation. And I just want to give you one final thought, and that is that don't get discouraged if you're on a tight budget, because I believe that a tight budget ends up resulting in the most creativity.
I brought a pen. I brought a couple of pens, actually. And this one is not the easiest thing to find, but you can find them. It's the Lamy 2000 multi-pen. I think it's just called the 4 colors. So the Lamy 2000 is just a classically designed pen. It feels great. It's got this great macrolon. It's like a fiberglass barrel into these steel, like the nose cone clip knock on there. And this one has 4 colors where you just rotate the barrel and the different colors come out: black, blue, green, and red. So it's just for someone who's a real pen nerd. Having a good multi-pen is a really neat thing to have as part of your writing arsenal, and not everyone has one, and Lamy makes probably the best one on the market. And it's just fun. It's really neat, and it's just kind of cool to you know, to take to work, notate things in different colors, and then have just such a good quality brand and build quality of the pen associated with it. I think that's pretty cool. The other thing that I like that you will not you will rarely catch me without is the Caran d'Ache fixed pencil. This one you can't get anymore. This was a limited edition. They did a couple years ago, but they make standard fixed pencils. They run about 20 bucks, 25 bucks. And what it is it's a clutch pencil. So it's got one big like 2mm lead in it. The cool thing about it is you just pop off the cap and then you can sharpen the lead in there. And I like to use pencil pretty regularly, and this is the best way to carry around a great writing, great looking, fun to use writing instrument. You know, just do quick notes, do sketches if I'm out and about, things like that. So you will hardly catch me without this pencil on me, you know, in a pen case, in a bag, in my shirt, somewhere like that. So those are kind of my favorites. You know, it wouldn't be a pen addict video if I didn't show off a Sailor pen. Like, if you really want to go up market and, you know, kind of blow someone's mind, the Sailor 4AM, the 1911, the newest 1911 North American exclusive, it's pretty good. Like, I really like the color. I like the black ionization plating. I love Sailor's nibs, and I like the translucent barrel. So this is a really cool, this is a very expensive pen, but if you're looking to blow the budget for the holidays, maybe that's one you think about. So
what book would you gift to an aspiring writer or artist?
This was a tough one, and it took me a minute, but I've decided that this is a good one. This is Calligraphy, the Calligraphy Handbook, Simple Techniques and Step-by-Step Projects. This is by Emma Callery. And a great thing about this book is that it gives you all kinds of history and stuff about italics and about different kinds of scripts, but then it also shows you some of those scripts and how to draw them. It gives you a bunch of examples of different kinds of things, like, I think these are pretty attractive and I think I could write this way if I gave it enough practice. And so this has been a really interesting book that I kind of keep over here next to my desk, and when I feel like doing some writing practice, I'll grab this guy.
Book. Is this a real question? Okay. Green eggs and ham, because I like green, and I also like ham, and I also like eggs.
Well, I'm not sure about art, but in regard to writing, one of my favorite books about the process of writing is this right here. It's called On Writing by Stephen King. He does an excellent job of breaking down the process of writing and the tools that you'll need in your writing toolbox in order to be successful. King also discussed in this book the details of his life-threatening accident. He was walking on the side of the road near his house in Maine when a van swerved off the road and hit him, causing severe injuries. So not only is this an excellent handbook in regard to the craft of writing, it's also about recovery and dealing with trials and tribulations in life. It's something I would recommend reading, even if you're not interested in the process of writing.
Well, the first thing that came up in my head is The Love of the Ink, a book about fountain pens for beginners. Learn all about fountain pens in one day. But don't take that as you hear it, because once you get the book and look at it, then you'll be amazed of all the important information. I feel it's going to lead you down the right path. I know it surely helped me go down that right path, because they were just like, what do I do? How can I get from point A to B? But that's my choice. And I think after you check out this book and really read it, it will help you on your journey.
I have very much enjoyed the Calligraphy Bible, and that's the title of a book when it comes to calligraphy. When it comes to art, Friedrich is the man. This is my favorite artist, and I recently got this book by Johannes Grave. Fantastic book. This is a beautiful, beautiful book. So if you like Friedrich, this is one of the books to get for sure. So that's a good idea. There are many, many books on calligraphy. I recently even saw a book on getting started in drawing with pens, so that could be an option too. If you are looking for books that are really on pens, on fountain pens, I cannot speak highly enough of the books of Andreas Lambrou. Fountain Pens of the World, Fountain Pens of Japan. Those books, they're huge. They are fantastic. So if you want eye candy, they're quite expensive, but they're worth every penny.
This is the book that I have most gifted people and throughout my life. I can't remember when this book was published, but it's been out since 2001, and it is 10 Secrets for Success and Inner Peace by Dr. Wayne Dyer. And I think whether they're an artist, a writer, this book is just so useful. I've given it for graduations, I've given it to young people, to family members. It's just a soothing book, and it's got beautiful illustrations.
Now, I love to read and I love looking at art, and I'm neither a great writer or a great artist, but I appreciate that kind of work. One of my favorite artists right now is a guy who goes by the name of Tommy Kane. This is all my photographs are made with pens. So what Tommy does, I don't know that I would call him an urban sketcher, but he's essentially a street artist, like not the graffiti style, but he'll go grab his chair, sit outside and draw. So, and he uses, you can see right in the beginning, the types of pens he uses. So like Uniball Vision, Muji, you know, some really cool pens there. You can just see how he puts his art together, what he sees in different things, and how he uses the color of pens. This is pretty much all pens that he's using, you know, like streets in Italy and things like that. So I just really like his work. I like what he does. And you can do like black and white drawings. So anything by Tommy Kane.
This concludes the 2019 Pen Community Gift Guide. I hope that you found a great pen gift for that someone special, even if that someone special is you. Big thanks go to all the contributors for taking their time in filming their video responses. Show your love for the online pen community by following and subscribing to their channels. Most of the items mentioned in this video are available to purchase at goldspot.com. To find out more information and shop, follow the link below in the description. We appreciate your support, and thank you for watching.
Thank you very much for watching this gift guide. I hope it was helpful and helped you find a gift for yourself, or for that pen lover, or maybe that pen noob, or future pen lover in your life. Thanks again to Goldspot and Tom for inviting me to do this, and welcome to the channel. See y'all around. Peace out.
Be well, be safe.
Thanks to Goldspot for inviting me to participate in this holiday gift guide. I hope your friends and your family have joyous holiday seasons. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.
Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed my answers. And join me on Larry's Fountain Pens, and have a great day.
Thanks again, Tom, for inviting me to do this. It was a lot of fun. And I'll gladly see you later. Bye-bye.
I hope this was useful, and I appreciate your being here. Both those of you who have followed me from the beginning and all of the newcomers. Appreciate you stopping by in any case. Thank you very much. Bye for now.
That's it for my Goldspot Community Gift Guide for 2019. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any feedback, leave it in the comments there. You can find all my work at penaddict.com, and I hope to see you around the stationery world, online, in person. Come say hi. Talk to you later.
Stay inky, my friends. Take care.